Russian man, but it's really the feeling. And then what does it mean to me? Meaning is the new thing now for me personally. It has to mean something. It has to be so important to us. And back to Tony, if you taught, I just saw something recently on, and he speaks on that sometimes he's so driven. He's talking about his new wife, Sage. So driven that, and eating well and no alcohol and get rid of the, and only fish and this. And he says that he remembered when he first met his wife now, is that they had their first date and they went out and she was an acupuncturist and she's this, and he says, oh, we're going to have the little green juices and we're going to be like a match made in heaven. She's blah, 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 blah. And so she goes and they're out there and she orders like a hot fudge sundae. And then he's going, is this like a joke or something? She goes, no, it's my night for a hot fudge sundae. And he goes, I don't get this. And she says, listen, Anal Tony. She said, this is how it works. I live a life that's balanced. And yeah, I'm going to drink all my juices during that. I'm going to do all that. But every once in a while, I'm going to pile in to this hot fudge sundae, and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it, because that's what it's about. And he said it has taught him a lot of balance in his life, because he, as you can see when he speaks, it's only this. Yeah, right? Exactly. This. I'm just going to get this, and I'm never going to be poor again. And so that can also, we need to work on. That's something to go, wow, I would like that, but there's also balance. Beautiful, beautiful balance. So what does it mean? I love it when he said, is it the end or the beginning of my being rewarded or punished? That's how we go through life, right? Sometimes we're thinking, who's punishing me? I mean, this is I'm being punished, and you're thinking, by who? Who? And then you have the ability to change at any time. What are you going to do? Give up or move forward? Most of us have, no matter what has gone on, have we not always moved forward? I spoke to somebody today that wrote me a really beautiful letter, and I won't say the whole letter, but it had that same moment. She was going through a very, very, very dark time. And I was able to shine the light on her. And I didn't think anything of it because it's just kind of what I do. It's like, oh, I don't put as bright of lights on as I did on that. Sometimes it's just a little flash, just so you know there's some light out there. And I got a little tough, which I'm actually becoming as a spiritual leader, a little tough love, a little bit more like, come on, everyone. It's not no yelling, but come on. We got a power inside of us that we get to use. And I kind of went into that with her. And I could tell when we got off the phone that she, would have preferred a little softer touch with it, a little dancing, a little better than that. But I got the letter today, and her light is now on. And she said, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And what I really didn't realize, and I did to some level, how dark she had become, because she is now here when she was considering not being here. And so how beautiful that a light came on. That's what we get to do. We don't have to have 10,000 people. I mean, for me, I don't need 10,000. 4,000 will be just perfect for me to stand up and. But that's what emotion creates the action. Would everybody agree on that? Emotion, yeah, absolutely. Oh, what a beautiful. Now, this guy, Jim Rohn, let me tell you about him. I quote him all the time. Jim Rohn mentored Tony Robbins. But here, I never knew it, but I would quote him, but I really didn't know who he was. And he's the one that really started him. He worked for him and got him really moving. And that is something that I did not know either. So Robbins started his career by promoting Jim Rohn's motivational seminars. And Jim Rohn was a motivational author and speaker as well as an entrepreneur. Jim Rohn taught him that happiness and success is not a matter of how much a person has got, but it depends on what he does with the available resources in his life. I love that. Resources is not always what we have to have, but we have to have resourcefulness, because we will never have resources if we don't. Very powerful message. Yeah. Okay. Another thing I'm learning too is that Mr. Firewalk man, because Rita and I just did our first Firewalk, and I didn't know that he was like kind of the pioneer along with that got that out there. Yes, yes.
With him in New York City, yes. When I first got married, and we were in New York City on the street, and he used the emotion, and all of a sudden there I was in front of Kohl's. And I realized that my new husband couldn't carry me across there. I had to walk across it. So it was a big learning.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It was big.
Has anyone ever walked it? You wanted to say something? Can you? Oh. Oh, and they did that too. With Tony though? No. Oh, that's great. Well, that's interesting because we never did it till last year or whenever that was the first time we had done it. And so, but I didn't know that he was the kind of the king of getting that out there after he was trained in that. And so this will be interesting for Mr. Charles because Tony started teaching the neuro-linguistic programming, NPL, NLP. It's NLP. Well, let me tell you something. I didn't type it. I copy and pasted that baby. So you could just blame the illiteracy of the magazines and there. Have you ever done that? Have you ever went through and seen how many typos are in it? And so I am proud to say that is not my typo. Hypnosis. Yeah, I'll take responsibility for copy and pasting it and not proofreading it. In 19, what'd you just say? No, I'm kidding you. In 1983, he learned to firewalk from what? Tolly Burkin, father of the global firewalking movement. Wow. Robbins' career as a self-help guru started to escalate when he started selling his programs through books and TV, infomercials for Patrick. That's when he started to make sure I could get it. He popularized himself as a peak performance coach and gained a lot of recognition. This was in 1988 when I was in New York City living my thing. So Tony's beginnings continued, famous for his books, we all know that. And he also started his Leadership Academy seminar. Through these successful seminars, he became the featured speaker. Does anyone remember learning Annex? Oh my God, that goes all the way. Learning Annex was, I can still see the little books. They're like, they would be in all the stores and people would have things all over the city of Los Angeles or New York that you would go in and be like, how to knit or how to computer training. And they would have these little things and you paid for them and it was like a little phase that is gone. Because we have, what now? YouTube. With his immaculate reputation as a self-help speaker, he became the featured speaker at the 2007 Technology, Entertainment, and Design, which we just watched. Oh, yeah. And then 2013, Brene Brown took over as the most popular. So Tony's beginning, once again, continued. Robbins is, okay, one thing I do want to say besides all this stuff is that you think of him as the self-help and the motivational guy, but he has a lot of businesses. Huge. He makes, I've got the number here, but something crazy like, 50 billion, a year in all of his companies. But he's not in Fortune 500, by the way, because you have to have one business that makes that, one company that makes that in order to be it, bless you. In order to do that, I was like, that was news to me as well, because I thought if you made 50 billion, that they might put you on the cover of it. But Fortune 500, you must make it all into one company. And he's got tons of stuff. And I think the thing that people don't know about him is how many nonprofits like the food and the and the feeding the homeless and all of the stuff that he does. He also has another opportunity that he does with training people. When he first started, it was called Robbins Research Institute. And this is what I remember his claim to fame. What he did was, the reason he called it that is because if he didn't know something, he went to somebody who did. And what I remembered most about him in that beautiful apartment, brownstone, little one room with, just had a flashback, sorry. What I remembered about him is that what he did with this is that he would go to everyone. I don't know if I told you the story on Sunday about the woman who had cancer, and she called him up and she said, I've got this cancer. I believe I can heal it. I believe I can do this. And he said, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's find out who's beat cancer, the exact same cancer you have. Let's find that out. Well, I don't know how to do that. Well, I do. Because I'll interview anyone. I'll go to anyone. But this is who he's not going to go to. He's not going to go to somebody who hasn't experienced it and just listen to your opinion about it. He went to every single person who has ever beat it, did the statistics, did the research to say, how did you do that? You know, if you're looking at somebody and you go, how did you do that? How did you get this? That's how we learn. Not that we're going to follow, because Rita and I are a perfect example. We don't really have a model for how we built this center. I mean, there's a model in, the Centers for Spiritual Living that you do this and you do that. If we had done that, we wouldn't be here. So we had a model. We were so busy doing it and that we had no idea that there was even a model. And we said, they go, what model do you use, for your success like this? And I went, Spirit. Where's your center? Right here. That's it. Because, here, and here. And they'll go, no, but like model. And we had somebody too that called and said, we'd like you to, speak and talk about how you built this. You went there and knew no one. How did you build this center? So then we told them, and they were like, no, really, like A, B, C, how do you? I said, you take your passion, and you find out why you want this, and you let it evolve as it goes. Anything that we're doing, we let it evolve as it goes. We do not stay the same. If we stay the same, then we're going to get the same. What we do is we allow ourselves to grow. We allow ourselves to become even more of the healers that we weren't yesterday. And today's a new day for that. So there's so many correspondence between his approach and ours. Some of this, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's interesting, but that's not what you really, really care about. But let's say it was a little family. This is his son, by the way. I didn't know if you knew that he had one. I love this. Are you more addicted to the results of success or the habits of success? He must have got that from his daddy. But anyway, this young man was from just his girlfriend. And that's another thing that he said that was a motivator for him, was that when she got pregnant, they were just dating, and she decided to keep this child. He said, well, then this child's is never going to have what I had. He wasn't going to marry her. I don't think he married her, but he stayed with her. But he said, this kid is not going to have what I have. He's going to have a present father. So he stayed with him, and then he married Becky, I remember him talking about him in all of his tapes. And then this is what's really funny, because we've even heard it. They say, well, he may be good with money. I love this judgmental phrase that just comes out. He may be good with money, but he's not that good in relationships. I'm like, really? Really? And so, but he loved this Becky Jenkins that he talked about all the time. And that was pretty much, if you want scandals with Tony, you're not going to get them from me, but that would probably be the only big time falling out that he had when this divorce took place, because he was very big at that time, and it was one of those sticky ones. And I don't know why. Don't care. Don't even look it up, because I'm sitting here going, I really want to know. And it's like, why? Their marriage ended after 9 years. He got married for the second time to Sage, the acupuncturist who eats hot fudge sundaes, and that's where he was. And then he adopted Becky's 3 kids, and so he has them, and his family is poor, and we already know about the Thanksgiving, and he is the eldest of 3 children. And so he played the role of the father and fed them, and his mother heavy into alcohol and drugs, and about 4 or 5 husbands or whatever it was. But we are all taught by our past, are we not? I love that. Past, I use that all the time when I was younger. Past does not equal our future. If it does, nobody in this room, but I'd be in a lot of trouble if my past equaled my future. A lot of trouble. So does he look like Tony? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, he does. Same mouth. Yeah. There you go. Tony's value. Now, this isn't Tony's spiritual value, which he is a very spiritual, but I'm going to tell you something. Try going and Googling or looking up what religion he is or what faith he is. You'll never find it. I don't know, because I guess he just isn't any of it. But yet, he talks about spirit. But what I love is about, when I put Tony's value, I don't mean his value, because in reality, there's no price tag that you can put on any of our value. I've always said that. In what we do, they say, how much is this? And I said, you could never afford me, really, so we'll have to just come up with a deal. So he quietly built an empire. The Anthony Robbins Company isn't just limited to his speaking engagements. It's a diversified group of businesses and industries such as hospitality, education, media production, and business services. The companies reportedly have combined revenue. There's $6 billion. Look at me giving him $50 billion a year. $6 billion. $6 billion. $6 billion. And then his seminars cost $5,000 for 6 days. And then when he does people like Oprah and Bill Clinton and all of his people, they're a whole different category, $10,000 an hour. And do you let's throw this out for a second. Do you think that's outrageous? No, really, be truthful. I don't care. Do you think it's outrageous for me to charge $10,000 for me Tony? I know what you might think because I'm only going to charge you $5,000, but $10,000. Do you think that's a lot? Do you think he should not at any part of charge that much? Go ahead. You have to talk
in There's a lot to say about that, but there's meaning in paying an amount that makes a significance to you. It's rewarding in itself, and then there's more meaning to what you receive.
Yeah. Yeah, and you grow with that. Go ahead, Emma. You have.
And I think to spend that kind of money, you probably have researched this person, or about him, and that that you believe in him. Because if you don't believe in him now, you're certainly not going to believe in him going to the seminar. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to really believe that something is going to happen, that you're going to go through some changes when you hear this person in a live.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like just by paying it, it's like, I have to change. I'm paying $10,000. I'm really committed to this now.
Bingo. Commitment and say, well, and I agree with that. I was just telling Charles the other day, I know somebody who was in this business, and we're always wondering how much you charge, how much you do. It's a big thing when you're probably not at his level, but when you're here, I'm sure he had it too. Well, sure enough, he had seminars that nobody attended. 5 people were sitting in the front row when he first started out. But that's that whole idea. What you're saying, is it the placebo? Are you going there? So what they did was they had the same product, same service, charged $1,000, $200, and $100. Same service, you could read the whole thing. The $1,000 is the one that was the most. Nobody went to the one that was free or the thing. They didn't go to that one, and they didn't go to the middle one. Why? Not because the product was any different. The placebo is there, is that you think you're going to spend it. And I like yours too, because it's so true. A lot of people go, if I spent that, I'm going to be every moment listening to everything. But 10,000 people, what do you think? Do you think all 10,000 walked out levitating and going to change their life? To a certain extent. Exactly.
And I've heard people say this before. I bet you, not about him, but just sometimes they'll raise their rates because they only want people that are serious, and they'd rather have a few people that really want to change.
Yeah, that's true.
And if they raise their rate like that, or charge that much, they're not going to get the people that are just sitting over here not wanting to change, or maybe wanting to change a little or whatever. But they're going to get the serious people, and he's going to. And he can only do so many people probably, too. He can only coach so many people. So He's kind
Yeah.
of, you know what I don't know.
It's an
I don't know.
interesting.
You'd have to ask him.
Well, no, it's absolutely wonderful because it's just food for thought. We're just throwing stuff out
Yeah.
to see, because that's the macrocosm of the microcosm of the macrocosm, right? We end up, no matter, this is big numbers, but we're still doing it in our daily life, no matter what the numbers are. You know what I mean? We're doing that now.
I'm just guessing that with what you need to do. Oh, I was just going to say, I would guess from what you've shared about him and his wanting to give and help, that if there's somebody that really is in need and wants to grow or is in dire straits and needs that,
Yeah.
I'm sure he
And
does
and he
things for
has them.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, he's given that. So anyway, I didn't want to get off on his, but anyway, go ahead.
The resort in Fiji
Mm-hmm.
and how that came about was that the oneness blessing givers
Mm-hmm.
that people know about, they
Big
used to
shot.
have to go to India to become a oneness blessing giver. You used to have to travel to India. You could not become
I
one
know
without doing that.
yeah.
Tony bought this Fiji resort so that, because he knew of the oneness people, so that people from the United States and people around did not have to go to India. And they started out doing it there.
Yeah,
And
that's-
so he had more motive other
Right.
than just having a resort to help his business.
Right, but that's partially true. That's not the whole truth of it. He bought Fiji Island because he always wanted to have an island. And no, I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. And there's a tribe there that he deals with that is very, very, they're smiling all the time, they're happy all the time, and he wanted to know why that they were doing that. So he actually bought it, just like he bought a castle, because he thought that would be his first thing with money. So what's motivating was my whole point. Yeah, and then we'll have to move because I see it's 20 days. Go ahead.
I was just going to say about motivation with reference to what we were saying earlier. If you claim your own value at a certain amount, that
Absolutely.
already makes an impact in itself, even before coming to
Right.
the workshop. That's inspiring that
Right.
somebody is able to.
Absolutely. And the reason I'm doing this is that, if you want to look up Tony, you guys can look up Tony. What I want from this evening is that you to walk away and do something with your life based on what you did for the last hour and a half. That's what I'm about tonight. Just so you'll know, I'm not about giving you information that you can look up yourself and see the typos that they make on it. I'm here to let you know Tony in another way that will inspire you tonight without paying the $5,000 to do it, because I believe that can be. I believe it already has happened. I believe that there's no accidents. Everybody's sitting here because there's something that you need to hear, whether it's from me or from his tape or from his video, and that you will get that. That's what I'm learning now, more than I ever have. Everything is on a divine appointment. Everything. Everything. There you go. Tony's value, once again, his foundations. This is a very interesting one. He has an Operation Underground Railroad nonprofit that helps all of against child trafficking and the slavery, which is beyond, I can't even breathe to think about it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, there it is. Now we can also have nonprofit for the detention places we have in our own country right now. So, but that's a whole nother story that I just said on live. Hi, Facebook Live. How are you? But it's true. But we have slavery going on too in lots of places. So Tony Robbins, the foundation has products and programs in more than, this is what I love, 2,000 schools, 700 prisons, 100,000 health and human services organizations. He does that. He's got, if you can't go to a seminar, he'll make sure you do. He has that ability. He has that in him. But I wouldn't want, I can't afford in this particular day to pay $5,000 today. Or yes, I can, but I choose to do it a different way. I choose to not do that. But I wouldn't want him to give me one. Because if I really want, it's for me, for him to give it, that'd be fabulous, because I know people that work with him and for him right now. And I wouldn't say no, but I'm saying that I agree with what was said earlier. There's something in the value of me wanting it so much that if you watch The Guru, which I know you did, I'm not your guru, the woman sold everything and it ended up in her favor because he ended up giving her much more back than that. But I'm just saying he really is a man who does give too, and he believes in his contribution. I'm not selling him because I don't have to. I'm just saying that I even had some judgment about him on certain levels. And so what I'm learning is until I really find out about somebody, my judgments didn't really matter because first of all, they weren't even true. I love this one, heal the boy and the man will appear. And that goes with women as well. Heal the little girl, because you guys all know where I stand in the inner child world. And I love this, and I remember we've done this quote before. I remember, Charles, when I first met you, I remember doing this. Oh my God. I was doing a seminar thing or whatever, and I did this one. You said, I just read this morning off of something. I am a kid from Azusa, if you guys know where that is, very close to like Burbank and Pasadena. Azusa, California, who did not have any certainty, but I was certain of one thing. I was not about to grow up and have a family that was going to go through what I went through. And so I constructed this Tony Robbins guy. I constructed him. I created him. He was me, but I built this thing called Tony Robbins. And that has always stuck with me, because that's what we're constantly doing. As a matter of fact, the 6th anniversary, we've just now claimed it as its theme of, it's like recommitment, rejuvenation, but mostly recommitment. Because once you go in, it's like a marriage, you renew your vows or you don't. You renew, that's where I feel that's really the energy of CSL Kauai right now. That we are recommitting. People are coming here, and we're all coming, and we're seeing it new. And we're saying, yes, I say I do. I do. Yes. Can you say I? I. Oh, Lordy. Do. I do. Can you say do? The past does not equal the future. I love this. Did you all get this from the second one that he said when he was here? Decision is what? The ultimate power. Why do you think that is? I just want one response from somebody. What do you think? Why is it? Adara, who had her eyes looking like she had an answer that I wanted to have. Here.
Well, because when you decide completely, all that is aligns and moves through you.
Absolutely. Do you believe that? Yeah. Sometimes we want to believe that. I mean, we want to believe it. It doesn't mean every moment it's like, I. But we do have to remember that I do believe that this universal flow is for us and never against us. And sometimes we get in the way, and it definitely feels against us. But he says, it is our resourcefulness, not our resources, that create success. Fear holds you back. Confidence, to live fully, to take action, to strive passionately, drives you forward. Wow. So the power of positive thinking is the ability to generate a feeling of certainty in yourself when nothing in the environment supports you. I said that this Sunday. I don't care where it is, on all four corners of our life. I don't care if we're not feeling well, if we're, our bank account isn't matching the richness of who we are. If your creativity doesn't feel like it's really moving, your relationship with yourself or with other people doesn't feel like it's moving, that is the time, as Ernest Holmes would say, that is the time when we need ourselves the most. That is the time that we need to call upon the power. And that is the power of positive thinking, is the ability to generate a feeling of certainty in yourself when nothing in the environment supports you. Because you know what my personal opinion on that is? Because you asked. The reason it has to do that is because fear and doubt are terrified of my shame and all the stuff that goes with that. So when I claim and say, I don't care what's going on right now in my body, I know that there is a power that is beyond anything I could imagine that will dissipate this, let this go. There is not a way in the world that will not support me. But it takes a lot of feeling, man, because you're feeling, when you're not feeling well, boy, you have to really, that's what I call being prayed up. When I'm feeling good is the time to really pray up, because boy, I might need you tomorrow. And so I pray up and I heal up and I'm ready for that. And that way when I'm with somebody, I can look at you and I can see you. And that's what we can do for everyone. I really invite us to see the light in someone. And like I said, be careful of putting the lights on too bright on somebody, because, they're just hanging on sometimes. But also don't dumb it down. That's another one of my I'm not dumbing down who I am. I'm not dumbing down God so that you can feel better. Does that make sense? Sometimes we do that. Sometimes I want to dumb it down or say, I'm a little, you guys okay? And I'm not going to dumb it down, but I am going to love you and I'm going to be there for you, and we'll sit in the dark together. We'll sit in the dark together. Yes.
I read this quote to my students today. Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
Because why? Because there's a big, huge responsibility that comes with power. We think that's all we want, but man, you get that power, you have to, and you can't hide from it. You got to go, they go, well, I don't know what I don't believe what you're, and this is and you have to go, I love you. Everyone needs to be right where you are, right here in this moment. But like I said, I'm not going down to that place because I would like to be a light, and I want you to go to that place when I need your light. And so that's the favor we can do with one another as we're all journeying, and we are journeying. And I'm going to tell you, for right now, what's happening planetarily and what's happening energetically in this world right now, the light, man, we are being called upon. And if you haven't got the calling yet, you will. You will get this calling. And it's an inner thing, and it's saying, you got to move. Don't be breaking things and frantically moving around. It's saying you got to move. Consciousness is demanding that we move up now, and we become the healers that each and every one of us are. Yeah. You have something? No.
Well, yeah. What's coming through is, the sentence, the ability to generate a feeling of certainty. And I had an experience recently where there was a lot of disharmony, and I was looking, and I do a lot of prayer work, and I was looking and saying, was this something I haven't cleared? What's the purpose? Show me. And the answer that I heard was I was being asked to learn how to be peace in the middle of unrest, how to be harmony in the face of disharmony. So he might talk about holding success in the face of outer world that's not. But to me, that's what a light is. If I'm saying I'm peace in the world, then I'm peace even if you're hating me. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm success even if my bank account is whatever. And so that's just whatever feeling we pick on in to be that feeling, whatever is important to us anyway.
And back to choice. Yeah. You don't have to either. I just want to see where we're at. These are just anybody ever read any of his books? Just curiosity. Yeah. You read Robert, this one, Awakening? He's 6'7", by the way. And 6'7", and that happened. And that happened to him when he was, I think in high school, he was 5'1", and shot up 10 inches in high school. And it was like, and it was actually something that was physically, it was very hard for him to be able to actually go through that. And I forgot the name of it, but we don't name the disease anyway. But anyway, there you go. So he has all of these wonderful books. I just saw a info commercial, I guess, or on the internet when he's with Dean Graziosi, I don't know, another guy that's in the business world, and he was saying that it used to be where books were the big thing, But now books are not, the thing that if you want to catapult your career or whatever, it's about these things that they're doing on YouTube and getting to know people through that. Brene Brown, who's, one of my favorites as well, she said, I put myself in books because I can't get everywhere. So I put myself in a book so that so I can get the information if you need it or if you don't. I love a joke that just came to my mind from her, by the way. She said, it was in some magazine, that every time that a person watches the Jersey Shores, the reality, a book commits suicide. She just has an opinion about reality TV. That's all it is. Yes. Oh, that's funny. So, and you know what? If you've ever seen him not in this, he's just chilling. I mean, he has no problem and chilling. And that was the I Am Not Your Guru. Has anyone ever seen it? I really, really suggest you really watch it. It is a powerful.
On Netflix.
It's on Netflix. And the reason I didn't put it here is because, once again, I took care of everybody with the F-bomb. And because, yeah, he says some stuff. So I figured, you know what, I don't need to go there. I can do other stuff. So the Peaceful Warriors this Friday, and I love it. And I'm on my 9th time seeing it. It'll be like the very first time. So, yes.
Watch the bonus material on I'm Not.
Oh, yeah, she just watched it, right? She fell asleep the first one, then she got to, see? Okay, so the story continues. Begin to live as though your prayers are already answered. Science of mind, and every other, mystical thing. So what I've learned about, I think this is my, I brought this is from the movie, the documentary. I challenge you to make your life a masterpiece. I challenge you to join the ranks of those people who live what they teach, who walk their talk. And I showed this one because it was just that moment in time when he stopped being Tony Robbins and he stopped being all of that and he became this girl's story. Which story is
She's from
Emma?
She grew up from under the children of God, and their
That's right.
value is that they are a vessel for God's love through sex. And so from 6 years old, that's what's been happening with her. But she told herself that is not what life is all about, that there's a lot more to it. And so what she was really doing during this time is that she was working with children that lived in cages or something like that. But she still was not, she still saw her family who was still all depressed and everything, and she was still within that, and she couldn't get out of it. And that's why she was there, and
Right. He just had that moment. Yeah, he just had the moment where he decided that he was going to do whatever he could for her. And so
It's in I'm Not Your Guru.
Yeah, I'm Not Your Guru. Yeah, watch it. It's powerful. There's another one too. So how I'd like to end this, besides always treating out, I would like you to I'm going to pass this around, and it doesn't, pass it around, and I just want you to tell me something you're taking home from tonight. And it can be simple, it can be just a feeling, it can be whatever. But I'd like to just embrace that, and then at the end of it, I will treat us out. How about that? So go ahead.
Wow. Something that we've gotten today. Certainly, it opened me up again to Tony Robbins. I had listened to him up in the 90s, and then I just stopped. But getting back to the I'm Not Your Guru, I mean, it has really opened me because it has very many similar principles of what she talks about to what I'm learning in Science of Mind. And it just goes together so well.
Yeah, it does.
For some reason, no words are coming, but there's a
Okay.
lot of thought. So,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, perfect. That means you're percolating.
Yes.
You're percolating.
To deepen my intention to really be aware of what I'm focusing on.
Nice.
I agree with you that there's so much percolating. It's like, wow, wow, wow. And I think that I want to be able to walk my dog.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, you do.
Divine orchestration and light being shined upon our potentiality, and the decision is ultimate power.
Thank you.
I think that I am more motivated in remembering the teachings that Jim Rohn taught me when I studied with him and some of his teachers. And then I think about it like right now, why haven't I published my book? Well, I don't have the money or the technology or the resources. And then I'm like, uh-oh, better get on it now.
He was here for you, Tony. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, one of his things there was fear holds you back, and I will say that I've held myself back from a lot of things in the past for various reasons, all having to do with fear of the unknown and just sometimes fear of success or failure, whatever. So just go for it anyway.
You bet.
Then you work it out.
Yes. And thanks for coming tonight. Yeah, it's Terry. So we met Terry on Sunday, and now he's here today, so thank you, too.
I think for me, too, is just trying to get through the fear aspect, and just you're not what your life, your family, and all that good stuff. And I have to get that into my mind that I'm not. And so I didn't realize his background, and that was so powerful for me. His background, I had no idea that he came from that. And from that, the desire that he has to change the world and give was so amazing for me.
Thank you, thank you.
So the word that came to my mind was expansion. And I feel, this is another step in my expansion into this human being that I'm living here on this earth and on this island. And I want to be a more loving, giving, open, expansive, adventurous human being.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Oh, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you. I feel for me it's mainly confirmation. I've encountered him in the past. I'm also a life coach by profession, and this is a trajectory I'm on. I teach mandala empowerment workshops, and I teach people to go back to that center and expand from there. And I'm being forced to grow very quickly. So it's like there's a lot of trust in it. And I think what's inspiring about him is just his confidence and his no other way but to be committed to his own mission. And maybe just to round up, I heard another TED Talk where it's a chance of 1 to 4 billion for each of us being here now on this planet in the way we are, with the resources we have, with the way we look. So why not fulfill the purpose we came here for?
Absolutely.
No other choice.
Beautiful.
That's what's up. The defining factor is never resources, but resourcefulness.
Yes. Yeah.
I think so many things, but I think just to be more, and not be more, but let more out, and to really step into more authenticity and a bigger light, bigger light, let my bigger light shine, and not be very afraid anymore of that. Just, not that I am, but I think there's more.
Yeah.
There's more. I just get more from him. And it's easy to go, oh my God, he started when he was so young and now here I am, but it never ends. So I know that wherever I'm at, I can still be more.
Absolutely.
Or let more out. I don't like to say be more because we're already everything, right? But to let more of that out, I think is more what I'm saying.
Pass it.
Bob's next.
I'm thankful for Tony Robbins and the message he teaches. Just like I'm thankful for Dan Mellion, and I'll be here this Friday. I love his book too. He's a different teacher with a different philosophy, a different way of teaching things. I appreciate him very much.
Nice.
the gift of knowing my why.
Yeah. That's Tanner, everybody, if you haven't met him before. There you go. Tanner.
Let's see. Focus equals feelings. Energy flows where attention goes.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I think everyone that said something was like, yeah. For me, it's just really emotions, the feeling, and really stepping into the feeling in such a powerful way, because I've had it work for me before with feelings, especially with treatments with you, where something has actually manifested like that. And I know it was from the feeling, and having that feeling coincide with there was no way the universe was not going to make that happen, because the feeling was so real. So, feelings.
Nice.
One of the quotes that was in the presentation was, what if your beliefs can't get you to where you want to go? And this past year, I've been really looking at some things that have been holding me back. And if something is holding you back, you probably have a belief that's doing that. Or fear, which is probably stemming from some belief. So for me, that was just one little, I think I'm going to write that out on my mirror. So just to keep reminding me to keep in check. What am I believing here, and why am I not moving forward to what I really want to accomplish, or whatever it might be?
Nugget, yeah.
For those that don't know me, my name is John, and this is Heidi. And it's along a lot of the same lines of what Heidi just said. There is a certainty that's within me, and I know that what I'm certain about is real, it's true, and I think this gives motivation to focus that and to move forward in it.
Beautiful. Rob, do you have? Yeah. Yeah. The cameraman back there making sure that it gets out into the world.
Inspired to learn more.
Great. So, I think he's not.
He's taking care of us.
Yeah. So, a couple things before we close is that one thing that just hit me was that idea that there was this man called Patrick, 30 years old, up in a room in New York City, being motivated by an infomercial at 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever it was. And I'm standing here 31 years later in front of this, and I just go, wow, life has an incredible way of just going around in a certain, and it's really funny. I have emotions about it now, but it's just, and look where I am now, compared to that guy up in that little tiny studio apartment. So I just am so blessed, and as I look out at all of you, I am just so blessed and so honored. I feel honored to bring this gentleman here tonight. I feel honored to be a spiritual leader with this wonderful woman over here. And I feel honored to be a part of your incredible energy that you are. And so with that, I just, bless him. And let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment before we go home to just cradle our beautiful selves in this wonderful, dynamic, powerful energy that is called by many, 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 many names. But right now I call it love. I call it that healing energy that has never been touched by anything but pure love. And as I continue to swim in this sea of receptivity, this remembering of who I am, who each and every one of us are, as I said before, individualized expressions of that one divine power that power that had an idea, and each and every one of our names is on it. If nothing else was ever to be done, that's how special we are, that we are the breath of the divine. We are the breath of life itself being expressed. So what I know for each and every one of us is that tonight a divine appointment has been fulfilled. It has been fulfilled. And what I know for each of us is that whatever nugget, whatever information, whatever feeling that is now coming up, that is being percolated, that is rising up like this beautiful island rose up thousands of years ago to be right where it is with us on it, I know that for each and every one of us. That this is the time, this is the moment, this is the time to decide who and what we are, and to live from that place. And so with that, I know as we go forth from moment to moment to moment to moment, we go forth from a place of peace, a place of love, a place of prosperity, a place of absolute creativity, a place of power, a place of the I am that I am, that each and every one of us has the true identity that is called God, Goddess, good. And so with that, I now just release this evening, knowing that it is already done what it was meant to do, and that there is a fulfillment that just shines so bright, that beacon of light that each and every one of us is and continues to be just keeps shining and shining and shining. I say thank you to Tony. I say thank you to Rob and the technology of the camera that allows us to go out into the world. I thank each and every one of us for being exactly who we are in this exact moment called now. And with that, I release it. I let it go, as together we affirm as one. And so it is.